And we're live! So I was merrily watching the countdown timer. I forgot we were about to go live. Oh, look at that. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. For those that don't know me, let me introduce myself. Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey. I'm one of the presenters right here on Adorama TV, and you are watching Adorama TV live. If you're watching live in the comments, say hello if you haven't already. If you're watching the recording, hello recorded people, say hello in the chat. We really appreciate that. I am not here on my own. There's a few of us here. You can see them and you can hear them. We've got Freya on the Super Switcher, Sam on the comments and the chat.
Hello.
I think it's working.
Hi everybody. How's everyone doing? It looks like everyone's got rain.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, we get weather forecasts as well.
Yeah, I'm getting weather forecasts, which is great. Yeah. Would you like to know where people are?
I would love to, yes.
Okay. So we've got, there we go, Wet Atlanta from Rob. Pasakuma from Surrey in British Columbia. Very cool. Oh, Italy.
I saw that. Yeah, Milan. Nice.
Yeah. We've got Alan, and he's in wet and rainy bushy part, of course. That's not far away from here.
Hi, Alan.
Rainy Stockholm. See? Soggy East Tennessee, is that? Yeah. Oh, a way too hot Arizona. Yeah,
well,
we found someone
okay.
with sunshine.
We'll swap.
Yeah, we've got loads of people here. Thank you. Keep putting your places down and what your weather's like.
Awesome. Right, should we get cracking? Because we've got a lot to get through in finite amount of time. Okay, so today we are doing Softbox rectangular versus Octabox versus Stripbox. I shouldn't really say versus, it's not like it's a competition. I'm going to have a look at how all three of these differ and also how they are basically the same. The first thing that is exactly the same on all of these, and I've chosen these three for a specific reason, is, I'm going to come in close, is this bit here. Hang on, that bit. Okay, they are all 36-inch softboxes, so it doesn't matter which one I choose, that's a 36. They're all from the Glow range from Flashpoint's in-house brand, of course. There we go, and that is a 24-36. So three different and yet somehow the same light modifiers. And we're going to have a go with some portraits and bits and pieces, but We're going to do a little bit of a technical experiment as well. So I've got some technical stuff as well as some creative uses for these softboxes. If you're watching live, you can put questions in as we go and Sam will fire over the best and most relevance to me. If you're watching the recording, I'll try and get back to the questions as we go. But let's start with the technical. Let's do the technical bits first, and then we can get on with the creative stuff. Because if you know the technical, it really helps when it comes to creative to understand what's actually happening with your gear. So, can we jump over to my laptop? Hey, okay, I've done some work. I did some planning and preparation for this. I mean, not that I don't normally, but I did an actual kind of little experiment. So these, yeah, fortunately we're covering up the one that's fine, because it's the same. So up here, hang on a minute, right up in the corner there, 36-inch Octabox, right up against the wall. I just wanted to look at the spread of the light. And not surprisingly, the Octabox gives a basically roundish spread of light. Above me, right at the top, is the rectangular one. It gives a rectangular-ish. Notice everything's always softened off at the corners. Way over there, no, over there, backwards for me. The Stripbox gives a sort of strip, and underneath me is the vertical strip, which gives a vertical strip. So the bottom two are the same light modifier, just rotated through 90 degrees. So you kind of can get a fairly good idea by doing that how light's going to come out in a radius from your light modifiers. But more usefully is this. This is worth doing on any light modifier you own. What I've done here is I've just put the light modifier right up against the wall, so the edge is touching the wall. It's physically against this wall right here, and then just shone the light down the length of the wall. And that helps me to understand the spread of the light. How does it come out? How does it come out? Yeah, okay, so that's really useful, and it can be quite surprising. Because when you look at these, they're all basically the same. There's not really any major difference. I mean, the 36 octa from the edge and the 24-36, although that's the 24 edge, basically exactly the same. The Stripbox does not give you a strip of light. Do not be fooled by the name. Unmodified Stripboxes give you just a smaller point of light, or, well, basically exactly the same. Have a look at this, though. So this is the same but up close. So this is on the 36-inch edge, and, I mean, if I didn't put the things at the top, could you actually tell, if I hadn't listed them, what softbox gave you what light? Yeah, you see, the choice of your softbox isn't as simple as you might think. The key is if I go close. Now, we might need a little bit of time for that to render, but the one on the, I don't know which side that is, that side, as you're looking at it, has more texture than this one. And that's because this is the 12 by 36-inch Stripbox. So it's a shallower Stripbox. Stripboxes, if used correctly, enhance the texture. That's one of their uses. So before you get too hung up on what light does what, do some little tests and decide, actually, does it matter if I have an Octabox or a nearly square softbox? Rectangular. No, that's a place in, no, not rectangular, that's it, got it. Ah, joys of live.
So Al Harrod said, how about a similar comparison with grids on?
Yeah, now, not on this live, that's something we can circle back to. We've probably done it. But with a grid, the effect is basically the same, just down to the spread of the grid. But if you want a Stripbox to give you that strip of light that you would imagine, that's what you need the grid for. But we're not covering that today, but it's a good question. Okay, did the comment pop on the screen? Yes. On your screen? I didn't see it on mine, just out of interest. Pop a comment up. No. Okay. I'll leave free to do that whilst I talk about the technical stuff. Okay. Either check the visibility or the layer order. I may have shuffled them around. Okay, so lighting for today is this fella right here. It is the brand new, ooh, exciting, Evolve 200 Pro Mark II. Okay, this is the new one with the new LED modeling lamps at the front. So that's the light I'm going to use. Today really isn't about the lights though, it's much more about the modifiers. But if you notice that I've got a modeling lamp on my softbox, and I'm using the bare bulb, you know why. Links to everything I'm using is in the video description down below. Okay. So that's pretty good. I think we should probably get a model in and actually get some photos in the bag. Give it up for the awesome Chloe. Woo! Hi, Chloe. Let me just clear some space. There we go. Pop those out the way. Right, we're going to start with this. So, if you're in the market for a softbox and you're thinking to yourself, what one should I get? Of these 3 softboxes, all 36-inch, which one should I get? This is it. This is the one you want. This is what I always recommend everyone to start with. Start with the classic rectangular, 2 foot by 3 foot, 90 by 60 if you're in centimeters, 36 by 24 if you're in inches. And let's pop that on the top. Always, no matter which softbox you're using, particularly with Bowen's mount your light to your softbox, not your softbox to the light. All right, you're right, Chloe. Okay, looking awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Literally just dragged you in off the street. Perfect, exactly like that. Yeah.
Actually, Michael commented that your boots match the stool.
Oh, they do.
Okay, so first thing I like about a rectangular softbox is it is a rectangle, so you can have it either way up. It's not the most refined rotation, but hey, it's a budget softbox. It does just fine. So that's good. Oh, really important. There's an important tip. With the new Evolve 200 Pro Mark II, it's absolutely essential that you turn it on. It's only a feature on the new one. The old one was like psychic. It just, just worked. Yeah, so that's a good start, isn't it? So what I'm going to show you with this softbox is my very first lighting that I kind of did years ago that really made a difference to what I was photographing. Now, you don't have to do this necessarily with this softbox, but this is where I started. So everything I'm going to do, in fact, almost everything we're going to do today, you could do with any of the softboxes. It's just some lend themselves to this more than others. So I'm going to get my softbox really close to Chloe, and I mean reasonably close so I don't actually hit her with the softbox, something like that. And I get a camera. Let me just switch a few bits and pieces off and over and around. Okay, so first picture. I've got everything set up, but what is going to be my first picture? Before I get going, I've got to do something really important. What have I got to do? Stick it in the chat. Okay. Dial in some default settings. So camera equipment, for those that like to know equipment. Today, we're back using the good old trusty Olympus OM system OM1. I've got the Flashpoint Nano transmitter as my transmitter and tether tools, cables, so you can see what's going on. Okay, test photo.
Bacon M13 said, how far away is the softbox from Chloe?
Oh, yeah. We should do one international Chloe's arm's length, but do you need me to answer any more than that, or is that enough?
No,
okay, cool.
Okay, so we also have some answers. A selfie. That's Michael. Sorry, I keep clicking on them and they're not coming up. Blackout, so NFNP, yeah, no flash, no picture. So black picture, no flash. Yeah, they're all on it. They're all on it. They're
yeah.
They're ahead of the
game. No flash, no picture. Yeah. Basically, stick it on the screen. There we go. That's it. That is my picture. Pretty good. Somewhere in there is Chloe. My camera settings are on the screen so you can get an idea of what we're doing. No flash, no picture. Yeah, the screen isn't broken. That's pretty good. So now what I need to do is make my flash work. So I'll turn the transmitter on. I'll find my flash meter and we'll get this all working and make sure this works. This is where it all gets quite fun because I need to make sure it actually works. Yep, okay. Chloe, I'm going to put this near your chin. Okay, so I'm working at f8. I want my flash to say f8 when I meter it. You don't need to use a meter. It's trial and error is absolutely fine. But just to confirm, there you go. Okay, so my flash matches my camera. And this doesn't matter which softbox. This is stuff you do all of the time for every softbox, every lighting. And what you end up with is actually a really nice picture. You don't need the cursor on Chloe's nose. That's optional. Okay, really nice. Really good. Okay, that's pretty good. However, there's a bit more to this than that. So one of the reasons I like using a rectangular softbox is if you want to feather the light. Now, a rectangular softbox and feathering work really well for the simple reason that you've got straight edges. So even when you feather the light, and if you've never come across the term feathering, that's a very, very typical photographer, overcomplicated way of saying turning. Yay. If we just said turning, it wouldn't be very interesting, would it? We called it feathering. Whoa, it must be doing something magical. Okay, so turning or feathering the light. Sorry?
A couple of questions.
Oh yeah, questions, far away.
Yeah, so Dave asked, do you stick with the theory distance to subject should equal the size of the box?
Nope. That's easy, isn't it? Yeah, no, I stick to the theory that I've got a small space, I'll make the most of it. That's the reality of working in a small home studio.
And then Gabby asked, hello, is this real live? Yes, it's real live.
I mean, come on, Gabby. Do you think we'd edit this badly? Actually, no, that's a fair question, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so feathering the light. I can feather the light away from Chloe, and I can feather it towards her. Now, I'm actually looking with the modelling lamp, and I'm just looking where I can just see a little bit of light reaching Chloe. It is going to affect my exposure a little bit. I reckon I can go a tiny bit more. Can you still see any of the white? Yeah? Okay. If Chloe can see the white, then the light will still reach her. Let's pop this near your chin. Let's find out. F6.3. Yeah, you can still see the light. So I could dial in F6.3 or just increase my flash by a third. Okay. Boom. Okay, there we go. So have a little look at this. So this is feathered away from the background. This is feathered at 90 degrees to the background. And you can spot the difference. The light on Chloe is the same, although our brain doesn't always make us think it's the same. I've metered it. I know it's the same, even if it doesn't feel it's the same. Whoop, wrong way. But the background is notably darker. So I can control the background really easily. And because it's a nice straight edge, I'm getting an even feather. If it was an Octabox with a curving edge, then your feathering doesn't go smoothly because only a small amount is close to your subject anyway. And then when you feather it, the stuff that's already further away instantly goes even further. So if you're into your feathering, a flat-edged light modifier like a square or rectangular softbox is definitely an advantage. Okay, can you see the light? Okay, do you want to look at me? Let's do it. Oh, you see, you're too good. If Chloe looks at me, I get split lighting, but Chloe's an expert. She knows, look towards the light. So we're having a proper model pays off. Proper model, get me. Experienced model pays off. Okay, so we can make that background grey, very nearly black, or a kind of a lightish grey, just by feathering the light. We have complete control over the results, and it works really nicely. Have you ever heard anyone tell you that the feathering the light, one of the reasons you'd feather the light is because you get the softest light from the edge? Has anyone heard that? Feather the light and you'll get soft, beautiful light from the edge. Let me know in the comments if that's a thing that you've come across. Should we test it? Chloe, I didn't tell you we were going to do this. Go stand up against the wall. I've thrown my script out the window like I had a script. Okay. Direct light. Direct light on Chloe. Smash in. Let's take a test meter reading. Let's get it a little higher up. Here we go. Oh, that's the floor. I'm going to pop that near your chin. F8. Oh, perfect. Okay, here we go. Let's have a look. And I'm interested in the shadows that we're going to get from this. Okay. Okay. Do you want to just take a little baby step away from the wall for me? We can just let the shadows drift a bit further away.
A couple of answers. So, nope.
Nope. Marvellous, in which case, don't worry about
Ram
it.
said no, never heard of that.
Fantastic.
Sheer said there is no such thing as feathering per se.
I mean, there is, but you can argue the results, but yeah, okay. So if we feather the light, so I turn the light away, so now Chloe's going to be lit by the edge.
So Rushane said, I've heard of that.
Oh, thank goodness for that. I thought it was just me.
You've made it up.
was starting to worry it was just me. So there was this old thing back in the day. There was a lot of misinformation, even on the internet, about lights. And one of them was, if you want the softest light, use the edge of your light as the softest light. That's only true if you've got really bad softboxes and they don't have a good diffuser inside. Because if you do use the edge, what happens is your shadows actually become harder, not softer, because you're lighting your subject through a smaller and smaller part of the light. So Chloe, can you still see any of that light? But is it now smaller from your point of view? Yep. Okay. So if the light is smaller from Chloe's point of view, my shadows are going to become increasingly hard edged. Okay. So you can see by now, that's quite a defined edge there. A little bit underexposed, but just something to be aware of.
Thomas said, "Oi, softbox police. You've got the leg, you know."
Yep, and absolutely.
You're trying to annoy Seth?
No, not at all. And Seth will back me up on this one. You do not need to sandbag your light unless it's off center. I mean, all the weight is going down through the middle. These things don't really weigh anything. So it's not going anywhere. Yeah, I mean, unless there's an earthquake. I mean, if it gets that bad. Do you want to just step out of the way? But you're right, when we boom it out, I will indeed forget to put a sandbag on, and then you can tell me. All right, okay. Let's just whack on a more interesting background. Just like that. Oh, yeah, we'll have that. The nice thing about using a carpet is I can see exactly where we put it. There's a nice little ring left in the carpet. So the reason I use feathering, the reason I would turn the lights towards or away from the background is simply because I want to control the background illumination. Okay, F8. So if I take a background picture like this, marvelous. I've got a little bit of background illumination. If I feather or turn my softbox towards the background, I have a lot more background illumination. If I feather or turn my softbox away from the background, I'll probably turn it up because I've got quite a bit of a turn on that. I can make my background pretty much disappear. May want a little bit more exposure. Okay, so turning your light is part of the process, and a rectangular softbox is great for that. Really good. Okay, I've got to stop because we've got a bunch of other things to go through and a finite amount of time. Okay, so background control with a rectangular softbox. Can you do that with an Octabox? Absolutely. Can you do it with a Stripbox? Oh yeah, and then some. It's a lot more dramatic with a Stripbox, but we'll get to that. Stick around. Okay, are we good for questions? Because I'm going to move on. Moving on. Sam's giving me the move on. Okay, so we're going to switch from the rectangular I'm going to switch from the rectangular one, and we're going to make it Octabox. Okay, so the Octabox. So this is exactly the same size. Let's put that over there. Exactly the same size as this one. Okay, same size. They're both 36-inch, more or less. The way companies measure their softboxes can be interesting, but basically these two are the same size, but they give slightly different results. Not as much as you might imagine. Why would you use this over that? Anyone want to tell me in the comments? Oh, look, I can feel the screen. It's the same size as your screen. I haven't done that joke. That one doesn't. Yeah. So why would you want an Octabox over a traditional rectangular softbox? Oh, where's the light gone? Oh, it's got a bright modelling lamp on. You'd think you'd notice, wouldn't you? Okay. Let's put it the other way up so we can get the branding around the right way.
So we've got catch lights, uniformity. Michael said, Daniel Norton says, if I want to be a cool YouTuber, I need Octabox with a grid.
And I think, honestly, I haven't heard Daniel say that, but I can absolutely imagine him saying that.
Round
I think he's right.
Catch lights, and light wraparound catch lights.
Yeah, I mean, the catch light is the obvious one, and well, that's exactly where we're heading with this. But I think the comment secondhand from Daniel is pretty much bang on as well, because it looks good. And you might think that that's a throwaway comment, But there's some logic to that. If you're working with somebody who is less confident, does that look more modern? Does that make them more confident that, hey, this guy's got gear, he knows what he's doing? I mean, I might, I don't. As nervous as the next person. But if that's what you need to give you some confidence or your client some confidence, then fine, go for it. Nothing wrong with that. All right, Chloe, is that still one international Chloe's arm's length away? It is indeed. Okay, we'll double check. Here we go. So let's have a little look at the catch lights. Let's see if we can see any catch lights. Okay, so there's the rectangle softbox. Can we go to my laptop? Sorry. There's the I know, there's a lot going on. There's the rectangular one. That's probably a better one. There you go. So if catch lights are your personal nemesis, if you really can't stand them, there's several things you could do. Obviously, change the shape of your softbox, change the shape of the catch light in post. I mean, good grief, would you imagine doing that on a whole shoot? But, you know, it's possible to deal with that if that's a thing. Let's do that shot again, or as close as we can to that one, but with the Octabox. And I don't know, I framed it up something like this. Okay. Let's have a little look. Okay, there you go. So that is an Octabox, an 8-sided softbox. So your catch light is now an 8-sided catch light. I don't know if that makes you happier. A lot of people say they like the Octabox because it represents the shape of the sun. The sun is round. Well, the sun isn't an octagon. You can get 16-sided ones. You can get ones that have actual round edges. Those are quite nice, but not in my budget for this session. So there are ways you can get around that. But go back to my laptop once more, Frey. Little thing. I don't know if you've ever had your picture taken in the sunshine. If that was the actual sun, if that was the sun and the highlight from the sun, the catch light from the sun was that big, the thing I wouldn't be worried about is its shape. I'd be worried that the sun is really, really close to us and we're all gonna die. I don't know. I mean, we would already be dead. So, yes, it is, but no, it's not. So bear that in mind. You're not reproducing the sun, you're reproducing a theoretical look. And if you want it to be more sun-like, then I guess back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Right back over here. Also, put it dead center. That helps. That's going to give you a rounder shape to your catch light. Got it. Popping this near your chin, pointing my flash meter at the light. F5.6. I think I'll just dial that in, actually. Job done for this quick little test. Okay, I'm going to come for a close-up in Chloe's eyes so we can really see the catch light. Okay. Let's have a look. There you go. Put it centered, and your catch light, well, I kind of missed it, is going to be in the center of the pupil, more or less, but also back it up, and it's going to appear rounder. It's not, but that, I think, feels more like a sun. How am I doing? Have we got any comments? The comments aren't coming on the screen, so we're going to pass on that, but I don't know what's going on anymore. So.
Oh, have you lost the plot already?
I've totally lost it. I'm so lost without it there, it's weird.
Yeah, so I can read out a few comments. There was one question about where you should place the bottom edge of the box. So this is Shakao. I hope I said that right. Do you need to put the bottom edge of the box same level as the chin? And what about a full body shot? Okay.
Good question. The short answer is, well, it's up to you, isn't it, really? As a general rule of thumb, my sort of rule of thumb is, Chloe, I can't see you. Now I can. So that's kind of where I'm going to put it. So if I can see underneath the softbox and see Chloe's eyes, it's about right. That's a rule of thumb. There are plenty of times, Halloween, film noir, where you want to have your light lower than that. Actually, there's only 2 times, isn't it? There's not plenty, there's 2. And there are plenty of times when you want to put the light overhead. Actually, we should do that. Let's put the light overhead. In which case, it's going to be like beauty lighting. It's going to be above. But from what we've done so far, yeah, pretty much. If you want a rough and ready starting point, if you can see underneath the softbox and see your model, then you've got it about right. It's a good question.
So Dennis asked, if I were to mix hard and soft light, should the softbox be the key light or the fill light?
Yeah, yep, should be. One of those two, shouldn't it? Dennis, that is, again, a very good question that is very, very, depends what you're doing. So we've got a Film Noir workshop coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to be lighting everything with hard lighting, but my fill light might be soft. If I'm doing soft lighting, I try and keep my fill light soft. Otherwise it can look a little bit weird, particularly if you put a backlight in. If you put a backlight in, soft at the front, the backlight is hard, you can get shadows from hair casting hard edge shadows. So, you know, I try and do it that way round. What we're going to do, beauty lighting. Let's do beauty lighting. Let's move you back against the wall. These are good questions, though. Excellent. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, so if you're just joining us, because we are halfway through, welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Adorama. Don't forget to click on the like button. That's always appreciated. And leave a wave or a chatter or something in the chat itself.
Greg,
if you're watching the recording, then say hello in the comments.
Greg's just put, look at him folding up that background like a boss.
Oh, good. I was going to do it again if no one commented. I was going to do a second, kind of like, oh, really?
Goodness, he commented.
I'll find a reason to do it twice. Yeah, years of experience, that is. That's the one thing to learn, is how to fold a reflector and how to fold a background. Because those are the things that, if you're on a location, you're really going to need to know. Okay, I'm going to do this properly so I don't get any comments. Hence the sound effects. Okay. All right. So I've just boomed. Oh. Can you see it from there? No, maybe that. I've just boomed it out a little bit. I don't want the light stand to be in my line of vision. It's a very short little grip arm. It's not a boom arm, it's a grip arm. But it's just enough just to give me a bit of working space. And yes, I will put a sandbag on it. But even without a sandbag, you can still see this is a pretty stable setup. Okay, it's not going anywhere, particularly if I put this over the long leg. So when I'm putting it in position, we're going to be absolutely fine. Right, Octabox, catch lights. Let's bring this in. Here we go. Okay, now Chloe, if it does tip over, please catch it. It's the only Flashpoint Evolve 200 Pro Mark II. I think I got that right. In the country, so that's really good. Oh, is it going? Is it going? And breathe. There you go. So yeah, I'm using the new one. It's kind of one of the things I like about the new light. You can't see it, but there's little LEDs at the side which actually indicate it is actually turned on. Because one of my favourite things to do, put the light up higher and then bring it back down to turn it on. Right, okay, so catch lights. Let's have a little look and see how this goes without anything at all. We want to get some meter reading going on here. Chloe, I'm going to pop this in your chin. Yeah, I'm much more likely to drop my... No one worries about my laptop, do they? F14. Don't hear anyone saying, oh, careful with your laptop. Maybe they do, I just can't see the chat today, so maybe that's full of people saying, oh no! Okay, pops near your chin. F8, okay, so once again, I've made my light match. Oh, it wants to focus on Chloe, doesn't it? And there you go, yeah, okay, my light matches my camera settings. F8, 250, ISO 200. At least it will if I adjust my aperture. That was close. F8, 250. Okay. Right, little test photo. Let's see what we get. Okay, Chloe, look straight down. If you look straight down the lens, chin down for me. Okay, cool. So, beauty lighting, sort of. Overhead lighting. We have a catch light in Chloe's eyes. Now, I deliberately asked Chloe to look down. Let's do the same, but looking up slightly. So, Chloe, if you can look up for me. Okay. Not a good angle to photograph, but what we're looking at is the shape and the catch light. So when Chloe's looking down, we have a small catch light, but it's there. But is that a rectangle or is that an octabox? Okay, it's an octabox. So on the second picture where she's looking slightly up, we can definitely see. So the shape of the catch light you get is very dependent on the size, the shape, the distance of your light modifier, but also the angle at which you're looking at your subject or that they're looking at the light. So there's a lot going on. So if you want to have consistent catch lights, then you need a model that doesn't move, a light that doesn't move, and a camera that doesn't move. And if you're shooting fashion, that might be exactly what you need.
So Todd has asked, what stool is that? So I'll answer that one.
Yeah, you bought that.
So if you're in the UK, I can tell you, it's a Dunelm stool. So it's just one of the local, not local, nationwide in the UK furniture. They do everything. It's great. I saw it, thought that's really cool. We'll get that.
It's a bit like a Home Depot.
Yeah, if you're in the USA.
Yeah.
And RBD fan said, are these glow softboxes bluer or cooler?
I don't have any other softboxes to test against. I would say in my non-scientific daily usage, there's not really any major difference, but always check. We did a whole video, if you want to go find it, 2 weeks ago, I think it was, or maybe 3 weeks ago, with Chloe and a red balloon and a red background, where I showed you how to use this little guy. So if colour is really important to you, Chloe, can you just hold that by the edges for me? Once you've got your light set, take this picture, and then it won't matter what colour your light is, particularly if you're only using a single softbox or light modifier, you've got a reference shot for perfect colour. So I can use my grey cards in there and have correct white balance or warm or cold white balance. So it's always useful, once you've got your light set, to grab yourself a colour checker passport or equivalent and take that picture at some point. Okay, these are good questions. Maybe I should have the chat off more often. Okay, right, where do we get to? Oh yeah, sunglasses. Okay, now we had a look at and saw that the size of the catch light changed as I moved the light backwards and forwards, but you can actually change the size of your catch lights by changing the size of your eyes. So here we go. I got these. Oh, you can see, I wonder what you're doing, you're waving at me. Yeah, there they are. You have a whole camera you can wave, it's kind of, no.
I think we look cooler through the glasses.
Ages putting that camera up.
Oh yeah, I know, that makes it better.
Okay, Chloe, there we go. They complained the camera was too overhead, so I've moved it. And now I keep hitting it with the light, so we'll see. Okay, so Chloe now has huge eyes, absolutely massive eyes. The reflective surface is what we're talking about. Eyes are a relatively small reflective surface. Add to that the cornea, the bit that you see, is a fairly curved surface as well. All of that helps to diminish the size of the catch light. But if you make your curved surface flatter and larger, let me get you in focus because the camera says no, then suddenly your catch lights are going to become quite a bit bigger. So that is the same distance as it was before. Hasn't changed in distance. Catch lights in the eyes, catch lights in the glasses. So if catch lights are a thing, and maybe that's exactly what you want, you've chosen your light modifier because you want the catch lights, Octabox in this case, great, let's do it. Let's go for it. Oh my goodness, look at the time.
You've got a couple of questions about the passport, the colour checker passport.
You fire the questions, I'm going to fire the photos.
Okay. Does a rarely used colour checker still need to be replaced every 2 years as recommended? That's David.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never kept mine more than 2 years. I've kept it forever. I'm very, very insistent that you should throw it away after 2 years. I've never done that. Okay, so yeah, we're good, aren't we? Okay.
And Leslie asked, do you use wireless tethering as well?
No. Wireless tethering on my particular camera causes a bit of a problem because I lose the screen on the back. So I can't see what I'm doing anymore. I like cables. Cables rarely fail. They either work or they don't. Wi-Fi works and then stops and then works again, etc., etc.
Leslie also asked, how are you tethering to your laptop? So we did a tethering video, didn't we?
We did. With Chloe, we threw bits of paper at your head and things.
Yeah, so if
I
you
remember.
have a look back, Leslie, at Gavin's Adorama videos, you'll find it. Lots of information there.
Okay. Well, you know, you should always use a portrait lens for portraits. You should never use anything that isn't a portrait lens, like, I don't know, fisheye. What kind of fool would use a fisheye? Oh yeah, this kind of fool. Okay. Let's push you into the corner. Keep the questions coming in, by the way. Super useful.
Another one about the colour checker passport. So Richard asked, can you use the passport when using coloured gels?
Yes, you can. Oh, not that one. Don't show that one. Nothing to see here. You can, but you'll be trying to correct out the coloured gel. So the way you do that is you take the gels off, do your white balance from your flash, and then put your gels back on. So when you use the gels, you always get a consistent colour. Otherwise, your colour will vary. But if you want your red gel to always come out the same tone of red, you need to meter the light, or measure the colour rather, of the light and the light modifier underneath the gel, and then put the gel over the top. If that makes sense. Okay. Anyone else ever used a fisheye as a portrait lens? Just me. Should we do black and white? There we go. Chloe's got her album coming out soon, so these will be great for that.
So Corey has said, I like the fisheye look, actually. It looks like backstage candies for a pop singer. As actually, we said something very similar earlier when we had a little test shoot. I said they'd look really good for album covers of the band members. So, yeah.
Totally would.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So breaking the rules. Rules of photography are more guidelines than rules, and as such, if you know them, you can then immediately break them. But if you don't know them, then you know that's something you should learn, and then when you learn them, forget them. Do your own thing. Okay, so yeah, fisheye lens, but of course what we're interested in is the shape. Oh look, I'm in it. Self-portrait. Awesome. Happy now.
Every time.
Okay. But as you can see, as Chloe moves around, so I get reflections that come and they go. If you're after constant reflections, you need a lot more direction to your model. But I kind of like that. I think that's kind of fun. And that works really well. I don't think it would work so well if we had a straight edge instead. So let's try it. Let's find out. I'm going to get rid of this. So we'll switch to our last softbox, also known as a stripbox. Okay, up there, stay.
So Randy asked, would a 36-inch parabolic work the same as the round Octabox?
Yes and no. I always give that answer, don't I? It doesn't really help anyone, does it? No, it won't. If you take this off and the inner diffuser off, no, it'll look very different. If you leave the outer diffuser on, it'll look exactly the same, because that shape is the shape that's being reflected, not this shape. Okay, this shape doesn't make any difference at all. This shape is only there to get the light to this point, and after that, that's your last surface. Whatever the last surface your light leaves, that's the light properties that your light's going to have. Doesn't matter about this bit. So this could be flat. I've got a softbox that's a bit bigger than this and about half the depth. It's brilliant. The end result is exactly the same because the light leaves a surface, and that's the surface that matters. Okay, so it'll look the same, it'll do the same. You just have a much heavier softbox, which brings me on to this. Stripbox. Ta-da! This is one of my absolute favourites. This is the EasyLock 12 by 36 inch quick soft. That, yeah? Okay, that, live. You try doing this live. It's hard work, you know. I think I'm making it look harder than it is. But anyway, this is one of my favourite ones, and two reasons. A, in a small studio like this, it takes up much less room. It's much easier to work with light. Secondly, the results from this, if you use it right, can be very dramatic, and I kind of like dramatic lights, but mostly it just weighs nothing. The weight of this is lovely. I mean, this is not a heavy softbox, but this has got 8 rods This has got 4 rods. This has got a much larger surface area at the back. This is basically it's just lighter. That counts for a lot. Particularly when you're going to put it on a grip arm or a boom arm. It's also 2 lights for the price of 1, because a Stripbox gives you both a hard, narrow light and a soft, wide light. Freaky, it really takes some getting used to. But master a Stripbox and you've got effectively 2 lights in 1. Right, let's do it that way around. Let's try not to hit you with this as I spin it around. Can't guarantee that though. Not bad, yeah. Okay, so same lighting position. So just like when I switched from the rectangular to the Octabox, I'm going to test this light in the same scenario and see how it changes. Shall we use the same lens? We might as well. It's attached. Yeah, with the sunglasses. The glasses on. I suppose they are sunglasses. Okay, so if you look up at the light for me, hold that there. Okay, cool. Let's have a little look. Okay, so this is the reflection. And remember, if we did this in the eyes, it would be exactly the same, but smaller. There isn't a right or a wrong, but I much prefer that to that. Okay, that matches the shape more or less. So that would make the choice of softbox really simple for me. I want the rounder shape rather than the straighter shape. You can disagree, but unless you're pressing the shutter, you're wrong. Joys of being a photographer. Okay. Right, so that's okay, but that's not what we're going to use a Stripbox for. So yeah, I'll take the glasses away. Let's just set this up. How are we doing for time? 10 minutes. We can do 10.
So
we can do 10 minutes.
Robert asked a question. In your glow Stripbox, why should I use the silver metal disc that came with the kit?
Up to you. They're all in the bag where they came from in mine. I don't use them. So the idea with that is it bounces a bit of light back. It reduces the hot spot in the middle. I've never had an issue with it. So I've never used them. So I can't really answer that one because I'm kind of with you. Why should I? If I'm getting the results I like with the way I'm using it, I'm not going to change how I use it. Good question, but I can't answer that one. Okay. Right. Is that it? Yeah. Let's do it this way first. So if you've got a Stripbox, answer me this. Which is your go-to way? Vertical, horizontal. Vertical, horizontal. Just wanted to make the noise because it sounds so good, doesn't it? I can see them behind the camera going, ooh. Little things I can do for revenge. I'll pay for it later, I promise. Okay.
Michael said diagonal.
Diagonal. Well, we did a diagonal one. So a little bit ago, it must be 6 months ago, we had Sophie in, and we did right at the end of the video, we had this idea of using it as a background, and we did it diagonally. Kind of worked.
Yeah, it's all been vertical, apart from Johan, who said depends.
Is that Johan? I can't see the comments. Johan? Yeah, okay. Johan, spot on. It depends. I mean, you can have a favourite. Everybody should have a favourite. Mine's actually horizontal. But as Johan says, it depends. Oh, don't need the sandbag. Okay, there we go. Right, so let's put this one international arm's length away from Chloe. Chloe, would you like to reach out? Okay, there we go. Marvellous. Okay. So, as I said earlier, I like to put my softbox so I can kind of see underneath it. And then I immediately break my own rules. Because that's what you do as a photographer. Okay? Okay, Chloe, I'm going to pop this near your chin. Oop, that was closer than I intended. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. F6.3. So I need to get to F8. So I need to be 2/3 of a stop more. I have to say, the new light is so much more accurate. And I don't know whether it's just I'm using it differently or better, but it just feels more accurate. I think maybe it's like new toy syndrome. It's like you convince yourself it's better. But oh, don't want the fisheye lens. That was close. Let's put back the standard 12 to 40 mil lens. Okay, so light in front of Chloe, in a vertical position. Oh, in black and white as well, because, well, that's fine. That's quite nice, but I was going to go colour. Okay. And if this looks vaguely familiar, it is. This is basically the same light we started with right at the beginning, because it is still just a rectangular softbox. So if you want nothing more than standard, safe, sensible light, a Stripbox can do that for you. There's a reason I've sat Chloe down, and that's because I want to move this. So Chloe, I'm going to move this around you. I need to move it 1 international Chloe's arm's length, so if you could do the honours, thank you. She's good, isn't she? So good. Okay, so now I've moved the light around, I'm going to get a different result. Okay, Chloe, if you can look towards me. No, do it wrong before we do it right. Here we go. So doing it deliberately wrong. In your mind, you can probably predict what's going to happen. Dark background, because I've turned the light away from the background, and an edge light. Now, the place I perhaps use the Stripbox the most would be right here, where on the opposite side would be the key light. So I'd use this effectively as a fill light. But we can actually use this as a key light as well without changing a single thing. You know what to do.
Yeah, there was some love for the black and white that you did right at the beginning by mistake.
By mistake. Happy accidents. That's what they are. Happy accidents. Okay, here we go. Okay, so there we go. That is the same picture as that. The only difference is the direction in which Chloe is looking. And do you know what I think would make that even better? Let's do that again. I've got this feeling, and I don't know what it is, but I just get this feeling that this would be more of a crowd pleaser as well as a crowd pleaser. Let's go stratospheric. Okay, so that is my contrasty black and white effect. It's quite contrasty, but you know, that gorgeous detail. Can I give you the glasses?
So Skip asked, does the light wrapping ability of the Octa give you less control than a strip?
So the light wrapping ability gives me more wrapping, I guess you could say, because it just doesn't extend so far. So I've only got 12 inches of room here, where with an Octabox that's 36 inches, I could bring it all the way out here, or a rectangle that has 36 inches. So it would actually be harder to do this picture because the light would extend this far forward. And if I move Chloe to the front of the softbox, then more, well, now I've got a 36 inch. I should have just done that, shouldn't I? Okay, let's see how that changed the picture. Lose the glasses. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go back to colour so we can actually see some detail. And we're gonna have the light in the shot, but it won't matter. Okay, that's fine. So, I was going to put my glasses on. It's your sunglasses. Okay. So now we've got light that wraps around a little bit more, but it's also lighting the background a little bit more. Okay, so we have a little bit more of a wrapping light because it is literally 3 times the length as it was before. So it depends on what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to achieve moody lighting, a Stripbox is easier because you're in the light or you're out of the light very quickly when it's set vertically. If you're trying to achieve soft, easy to work with, flexible lighting where your subject can move a little bit, then this is much harder. Same thing, different results. Okay, yeah, let's go back here because we've got 5 minutes to go. We are working to a time today. It's kind of like no overrunning. I've got this. So the Stripbox is very good for putting edge lighting, for lighting, I was going to say not the whole of your subject. Again, we've got stuff on Adorama on this, but if I wanted to light Chloe, do you want to just stand up for me? Okay, we'll lose the chair. If I had a lower light stand, you might think, I'd want to light Chloe like that. Can you just about see that? Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Frey. So you'd think if I wanted to do a full length lit picture, I'd want to put it here so the light lights the top all the way down to the bottom. But if you think about it, most of the light is at the lower part here, so almost all of the light would be coming up from underneath. So although that would give me a correct illumination if Chloe was a bottle, as a person, it looks really weird. So once again, I would still need to put my light up high, otherwise I'd have light coming from below. And unless you're doing a Halloween Beetlejuice thing, which you might want to do that kind of shoot coming up in a couple of weeks, then great, that's fine. But for us today, no. Strip boxes will light strips, but if it's the key light, keep it high. Okay, so there's one other use for the strip box. There's lots. There's one other we're going to go through right now, and that is the fact that I've got a soft light, a long light, and I've got a hard light, a short light. It's not so much that it's a hard light, it's just smaller. And that's really what hard light is, isn't it? And this smaller size has an impact on something called the inverse square law. Who doesn't love the no, don't answer that. Don't answer that question. Okay, the inverse square law, basically, if you've not come across it before, well done. You're in luck. But it means that light drops off as it leaves the light source, and it drops off quickly to start with, and then the amount of light drop off, in other words, how bright it is, reduces over distance. So if you get a light really close to your subject, then the light drop off is going to be pretty sudden. Here, my light is much larger, so my light drop-off doesn't start happening really until Chloe's waistline. Here, it's going to start happening at Chloe's shoulder line. The upshot is, if you want to lose Chloe's feet, you're in luck. Okay, I should meter this, shouldn't I? Anyone seen my flash meter? It's a big thing. Here it is, right there. Chloe, I'm popping this near your chin. F9, it's pretty good. I can work with that. Third down, boom. Yep, there we go. For those that like to know power, I'm at 1/16 power, if that helps. Okay, so more full length. Okay, Chloe's feet, very, very nearly in shadow. Oh, stuck. They're not going to be bright, but they're going to be brighter. Can you spot the difference? Okay, light fall off, softer light. Now there's no rights and there's no wrongs, but you've got an option at this point. This is giving you choice. Choice is really important in photography. We've got 1 minute. There's no choice, Chloe. It's going to be horizontal. It's going to be really close, and I'm going to do a break the rules moment. We're going to deliberately break one of the rules of photography, which is don't keep your light in your picture. Get your light out your shot. Or deliberately put your light in the picture. Okay, so I'm going to deliberately put my light in the image. That's not too bad. Just needs a little bit of fill light in there as well. So let's add a tiny little bit of fill light.
I had a couple of questions about how you're triggering the flash.
Yeah, far away.
Yeah, how are you triggering the flash?
I'm using the Flashpoint Nano, which is the new little transmitter. So this is the Flashpoint Nano. There's links in the video description, of course. So this is, okay, the Flashpoint Nano. It's really tiny. It's got a little screen on the top, which is touch sensitive. Go check out Adorama. There is a bunch of information about that. This is going to be our little fill light. I've got less than a minute to do this. I can do this. There we go. It has got, of course, the light strainer on there. Okay, light strainer is on. Light strainer is on 1/8 power because it's pretty dim. Okay, and that's just going to put a little bit of fill light into these images. We'll just take that down to stop. And I'm deliberately including my light in the picture. Maybe a bit in black and white. Let's do a bit of black and white. Yes, black and white definitely looks classy, especially with Chloe as she is at the moment. Look at that, that's superb. Got a bit of cloning out to do, but hey, we're running on tight timelines here. Okay, kind of cool. Keep moving, Chloe, that's good. Okay, so that really brings us to the end of this session, believe it or not. So of the three, I use all three all of the time. Just to wrap up, if you're interested in what you should buy as your first ever light modifier, get the rectangular softbox. If you're looking to go mainstream, the Octabox will do you absolutely brilliantly. And if you're into more creative lighting, the Stripbox is where I would head. Wow, there we go. Bang on time. Hopefully you found that useful. If you have, give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, well, you've made it this far, you might as well subscribe because we've got a load more content coming up. Daniel Norton will be here next week. And if you want more content, then check out the Adorama events page. But for me, that's pretty much it. Gonna say thank you to Freya and Sam. Give us a wave.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for your questions.
And we are out of time. So I'm Gavin Hoey. This is Chloe. Thanks for watching.